Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome again to the 30 PM podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Nguyen, joined by my guy to my right here, fellow Giants fan, Brian Germinaro. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Training camp has started, which means one thing: football is almost back. The Hall of Fame game, Brian, is 1 week from Thursday, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, it is. Even though
Alrighty.
it means nothing, it's a sign that the fall is almost here.
Exactly. I'm super excited. There's just so much to discuss even when it's just a Hall of Fame game because there's players that might stand out in that game as well. I think it's Bears and Browns, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Or what is the matchup? I think
Believe
I
so.
think it is. It's like Bears something um this year. No, Bears and Texans. Why did I
Bears
think
and
of
Texans.
Browns?
Okay.
Okay, well, we know CJ Stroud and Caleb Williams will likely not be playing.
Yeah, no.
But at the
Maybe a
end,
drive of Williams because he's a rookie, just to get him out there. But if you're expecting Williams to get a quarter or two, I'm sorry, you don't know, you don't know football.
you'll be disappointed. That's all we
You'll be
gotta say.
very disappointed.
But like
In the
regardless, we
fourth
have
quarter, you can just turn the game off because all these guys are gonna get cut.
all the third strings and the fourth strings. Maybe you'll have like an exciting play from like an undrafted guy, but other than that,
This guy was a D2 athlete, was in Canada for 5 years, trying to make the NFL roster, makes this great play. Oh, he got cut a week later? All right, that sounds about right.
it's like we're not surprised. But we got a fun episode lined up for you guys today. We got questions in regards to our beloved New York Football Giants as they head off into training camp. They started on Sunday officially, but they had some workouts yesterday, and then they start their first practice tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So we'll talk about some questions that we have for our team. We'll also get into the top 100 players in the NFL as the league revealed players ranked from 81 to 100. And we'll continue to do that as we get more official reveals from the NFL throughout the next coming days and weeks. I think the top 10 will be revealed on August 2nd. So um, we'll go from there. And then we have Jordan Love. We talked about the Packers not too long ago in a previous episode, but at the moment he is currently holding out of getting onto the field. He's at training camp, but he looks to get a new contract with the Packers. We'll discuss that as well. And then finally, Brian has a question about the Olympics, with the Olympics starting on Friday. The little hypothetical question that you'll want the answer to at the end of the show. So,
Oh, yeah, it might be the dumbest thing we've ever debated on this show.
look, it may be, but it will be a fun one. That's
Mhm.
all. That's all I'll say to that.
Yeah.
But without further ado, let's get started, shall we? So first up, the New York Giants training camp officially kicked off on Sunday. We don't know much about the team. There hasn't been any interviews with the coaching staff or anything like that. But as we know right now, the team brought in 6 players for a pre-training camp workout. Headlining the list was offensive lineman Greg Van Roten, who you know Brian from his days in Vegas with the Raiders.
Yep.
Has a relationship with our current O-line coach, Carmen Bursillo. So first up, before we even dive into our questions, I want to get your quick thoughts on that because Van Roten is a pretty notable name that we should keep an eye on for. Correct?
Yeah, no, this would be a perfect way to spend the little cap space we have left. Really upgrade the offensive line. Like we've seen in Hard Knocks, Joe Shane has stressed the offensive line all offseason, and bringing in Van Roten, he's got a relationship with our offensive line coach. He kind of knows the system we're going to be running. For very least, from leadership standpoint alone, he could be a guy they bring in and kind of lead the new offensive lineman. It kind of be like an extension of the line coach. But I think he's a really good lineman. And it's going to be a perfect guy to throw in that guard and really, shore up that the interior of the offensive line.
And expectations are if he does end up signing with the Giants, that he would be, like you mentioned, at left guard, which would kind of impact the whole Evan Neal situation. That kind of creates that competition at right tackle between Evan Neal and Jermaine Illuminor.
And Neal's going to be on the pup list, most likely, they said, with his
That is
ankle injury.
that is true. So that would even, I guess, in a way, Van Roten is like kind of that insurance in that if Neal is slated to start on that list, the pup list, that Illuminor would go to right tackle, and then Van Roten will go to left guard. I know Aaron Stinney is someone that we kind of a quiet signing this off season, but but he hasn't really been named much as the starter at left guard. He did play with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they made that Super Bowl run a few years ago. But other than that, it seems like the left guard spot is most likely to be Illuminor's if Neil is healthy and will play right tackle. But we'll see what
Yeah.
happens with Van Roten soon. Other names on the list include Jarrett Garantano, wide receiver Jakeem Grant, receiver TJ Luther, receiver Brian Pringle, and then another wide receiver Lincoln Victor. As you can tell, Brian, a theme is wide receivers
Hmm.
for these workouts. I know one name that stood out to those lists is Brian Pringle, and you know about him with the time with the Chiefs.
Yeah, his last name was Pringle. Like, how do you know this guy? His name's after a chip.
Like, how could you forget about Pringle? But he is a veteran guy, 6 years in the league, known for his days in Kansas City when he was part of that offense that was pretty fast, along with Tyreek Hill and McCall Hardman, who is still there, by the way. Jakeem Grant is a 31-year-old special teams ace who the Giants likely will have if they do sign him as a returner. He did tear his Achilles in 2022, and then 2023 tore his patella tendon, so kind of some questions there. The other guys are rookies or spent time on the practice squad last year. A notable guy is Garantano, who has appeared in the NFL for both the Cardinals and the Broncos. Most recently played in the XFL for the Houston Roughnecks. He's a
Hmm.
New Jersey native, so Tommy Vito type vibes.
Yeah. I mean, that's just Giants appealing to the Jersey audience. Jersey guys like having Jersey guys play, on the field with them. They're like, oh my God, that guy went to Bosco. I went, I was in the same class as him. That's what Jersey guys like.
So yeah, I mean, not these five guys outside of Van Roten, not too. We don't really expect them to sign with the team because
Just depth pieces to kind of, put kind of light a fire under some guys, but also just kind of fill out the roster, get in there in preseason games when the game is kind of over. Like, all right, we'll just throw these guys out there. Basically, the nicest way possible of cannon fodder as you can, come up with, because they'll be cut right before Labor Day.
yeah, we don't see these guys as threats at all to any of the
No.
positions on the team. So yeah, just wanted to throw it out there. Now we can kind of get to the fun stuff. Now we got that out of the way. Because I know for the questions that we have, we'll get some clear answers as the training camp comes and goes, and we get to the preseason and after every game. Not saying that we'll have coverage after every game immediately, but the day after the Giants preseason games, we will have
Hmm.
coverage and cover all that as well. So just wanted to let you guys know. But let's have some fun right now, Brian. We'll take turns one by one. So combined, we have 10 questions that we'll ask each other. Uh, so as the Giants kick off training camp, what concerns or questions do you have for Big Blue? You can go first.
Well, the first one is, what is the health of Daniel Jones? How will Daniel Jones' knee injury affect his play style? Because sure, we've seen Daniel Jones as a game manager, kind of the check downs, the short yardage plays, but there also was that side of Daniel Jones, which was his athletic running ability. A guy who could, was the fastest guy in the NFL by advanced metrics. No one was faster than him. He had the speed. We all remember, the huge run in Philadelphia where he was going to walk in for a touchdown but unfortunately tripped. The Minnesota game where he had 7 rushes for like 60 yards, something like that. So is that element of his game still going to be there, or has the knee injury taken away that? That's something we're going to see in camp and the preseason itself.
Yeah, great topic to start. I think for me, it does hurt that Saquon has left because he was such a big, as you know, such a big
Mhm.
part of Jones's success on the ground was because all these defenders loaded the box. They most of the time they're like, okay, Saquon's gonna get the ball. We don't have to worry about Jones. But hey, at that, along with Jones's ability to kind of, this is an underrated thing about Jones, that he's
Mhm.
good at play action, that he can hide the ball. Everyone thinks Saquon has it, and he
Yeah.
can just secretly just run to the outside. I think one game that stands out the most was the Chicago game.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that one. That game was
Mhm. They're in
good.
the throwback unis too, which makes it even better.
Oh, I love those. I will try to get a Malik because I have a Thibodeau one, but then the other one I have for that version is the Saquon one, and I don't know if I should wear that anymore. So
I burnt my Saquon Barkley jersey. It was burned.
wasn't there like a foot mat?
It was a foot mat, and then it was burned.
I because I have a bunch of Saquon stuff. I have jerseys. I have a T-shirt that I found because I'm moving soon. So I was packing up my clothes and I found a Saquon shirt
Man,
and
I
I
went
was
all in
like,
on this guy.
I really did, man. I love the guy, and I even have a Funko Pop. I'll try to show it next time. But um, yeah. So Saquon is a big part of Jones' success on the ground, and I just feel like the element for Jones is still there. Hopefully he's not scared to run, to perform like he did a couple years ago in terms of his production on the ground. But um, like you mentioned, I think the element is still there. It's just a matter of will defenses focus a little bit more on him in the run game, or will they still fall
Hmm.
for? Because even though they're not the same caliber as Saquon, but Singletary and Eric Gray and Tyrone Tracy, they're not too bad of an
Yeah,
option.
you're okay if those guys beat you. You're not okay if Saquon Barkley beats you.
Exactly. Um, I feel like my first question kind of ties into one of your other questions, Brian, and
Okay.
so we'll see if it works out. But what's one position you're looking forward to watch battle things out in training camp and into the preseason as well?
Well, that is leads into one, so I'll change it up. I'm excited to see right tackle between Neal and Illuminar. I really think this is a big training camp for Evan Neal if he's able to say get on the field with his him being on the pup injury, the ankle injury being worse than we all expected. But this is a big time. This is for Neal to kind of prove to this Giants team that hey, I was worth being taken seventh overall. I'm not the next Eric Flowers. I'm not Nate Solder. I'm not this bust. I can be here and be the player you all expected. We have legit competition now where it's not going to be, trying to force Neal to work. If Neal doesn't work in camp or preseason, it's Illuminar's job week one. If Neal struggles week one, week two, he's coming out. So it's a really big make or break year, and I want to see what improvements he's made with the new offensive line coach.
I feel like your leash on Evan Neal is a bit short, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. Correct? Okay.
Hmm. I'm sorry. It's just what have you done for me lately? I've seen this story before with waiting too long for linemen to get better and someone gets hurt. I can't have that. Andrew Thomas had a rough rookie year and then bounced back his second season. Where was that with Neal? If anything, it's gone backwards in some places. So we really need to see Neal take those steps forwards. I'm not asking him to be Andrew Thomas. I'm not. I just want him to be an average lineman. Is that too much to ask for?
No, not at all. I mean, by the way, Thomas's improvement was absolutely outstanding. You go from his struggles in
That's
rookie year.
crazy. Like that's like shout out to him, but that's unrealistic for anyone to say we need to see Andrew Thomas type improvement. No. That is a rare exception. We need to see improvement, but like let's taper expectations of how much improvement we're going to see.
1,000%. So yeah, I mean, yeah, great point there. I think for Neil, yeah, definitely needs to show that he's capable of handling the right side. If he struggles within the first couple of weeks, definitely conversation will be had in terms of his spot, starting spot on the team, I should say. Not that he's going to get released, but uh, he will possibly get benched or moved to a different position if things go downhill. I think for me, definitely a position to watch. The easy way would be to go running back and whatnot, but
Mm-hmm.
I think the position for me, and it's a specific one, is wide receiver number three. Um,
Okay.
and I don't want to say receiver entirely because we know how things are shaking up, but the wide receiver three position means a lot to me in that yes, you have Malik Nambers on the outside. Yes, you have um, most likely Jalen Hyatt on the outside as well. But is it going to be Wandell Robinson or is it going to be Darius Slayton? Those two guys, as much as we want to think that it's not a big of a battle as it is, it kind of is in that you have
Mm-hmm.
Wandale, who's a third year guy he's mainly a slot guy. He's a fast, quick guy from Kentucky, but you also have the veteran Darius Slayton, who, as we know, Brian has been the best receiver on the team for the past 5 seasons,
Yeah.
um, which, as you said on multiple occasions, may not mean much. But at the same time, it kind of does, in that he has been productive and has gone through a lot for us. But I think this is kind of where we kind of say that we have too many wide receivers, right? Is that kind of not to say that they're all like the best, but it is kind of from a depth standpoint, kind of we do have a lot.
Yeah, we have a lot of wide receivers that can fill certain spots, and we have a lot of young wide receivers that we don't really need someone like a Slayton anymore, who we kind of know what we're going to get. We know that Slayton's going to go out there, drop balls, be a decent wide receiver, but not someone that can elevate the next game. Where you have Hyatt and Robinson are like, okay, we're seeing flashes. It's clear that Robinson can be a great slot guy and Hyatt can be a great deep threat. So do those two upsides outweigh the floor of Darius Slayton? That's what we're going to have to figure out.
Yeah, and it's like, as much as I love Darius Slayton, I would love the
Mm-hmm.
Giants to roll out like a four receiver set,
Yeah.
in the shotgun, with a running back next to Jones and whatnot. But at the same time, we haven't seen that much
Mm-hmm.
from this offense. Of course, with Brian Dable running it now, most likely we may see that. So unless the Giants plan to roll that out 60% of the time, I do think that there will be some frustration in that receiving room. Um,
Yeah. And there's
I
other
might
guys like Hodgins, Allen
exactly,
Robinson is here, which people I
exactly.
think forget about often. Like there are good guys, and then you have a guy like Gunnar Ozenkwi, who is he's a wide receiver. He's gonna be a slot return guy, but he is a receiver. He probably wants to challenge for a receiver role.
Hmm.
So it's like, which it's I rather keep him over Slayton because he can return kicks.
Exactly. So I mean, as of right now, not much trade talk with Slayton. I mean, he just signed that new contract, or restructured whatever contract with the Giants recently. So it looks like he'll be staying for at least this year, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll see what happens there. But that wide receiver three position definitely a big one to watch out for. Unless they feel like Slayton will be wide receiver two, then that just creates a whole different conversation with is it going to be
Mm-hmm.
Hyatt or Wandale at wide receiver three? But we shall see. Uh, Next question, you're up, buddy. What you got?
All right, I'm gonna go with how the secondary going to perform with all the new faces. We lost Xavier McKinney, who was a huge leader on that defense, was wearing the green dot before we got Okereke, which just makes sense because Martindale Lake linebackers wearing it. Regardless, but McKinney's gone. We bring in Tyron Newman to fill his spot. We have Drew Phillips, who's going to be probably the nickel corner. So who's going to fill up that cornerback two spot? Right now it's Flott, but Trey Hawkins a third, Trey Hendon, they all could slide in there. Which one is going to do it? And then how are they going to react with not having McKinney in that backfield anymore? Is a guy like Deontay Banks going to step up and I'm the leader of this secondary now? Is it going to be some veteran like Jalen Mills, who was brought in? It's kind of the second string strong safety behind guys like Pinnock and Newman. Is he going to kind of become a extension of the coaching staff, being probably the most veteran experience? Who is going to be? How's he going to perform? Are we going to see rookie mistakes? Are we going to see some major step ups from a guy like Banks and Pinnock? That's what I'm looking forward to see.
Yeah, I think you made a great at the beginning of what you said, that the nickelback position, right? Because that's something we haven't really covered as much. Because we have Deontay Banks, we as of right now, it's gonna be Cordell Flood on the outside opposite of Banks, but it's that nickelback position that's important because we did draft Andrew Phillips in the third round, but we also, like you mentioned, signed a Trey Herndon, and he's actually a candidate that may not even make the roster. I saw a
Yeah,
report, I think it was Bleacher Report, I think, and they had Herndon released from the 53-man roster before week one as a prediction, per se. So I'm like, okay, so does that mean our secondary gets even younger because Herndon is actually a veteran that can
yeah,
help out? So that was kind of a concerning or questionable article that I read, but at the end of the day, that's
yeah.
just predictions and stuff.
I
But
don't think they'll cut him because of how young the secondary is. I think they're going to want to keep some veteran. Like I think a guy like Trey Hawkins the third is much more likely to get cut than Hendren. But it's a possibility that if Hawkins balls out and it's clear that Trey doesn't have it anymore, it's going to be just a decision of all right, we have to let the talented guys on the roster. Sorry.
exactly. Um, so yeah, so that one, that's position that definitely something to look out for, that nickelback position. So we'll see. I would prefer Herndon over Phillips as for right now. I do love Phillips, but I kind of want to give
You want
some
to ease
time.
them into it. Don't just like, all right, you're starting day one. Like, wait, what?
Exactly. But hey, we both love Tyler Newbin. We both do.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make that clear. Um, that we do have a couple questions, or one question and one comment from our viewers right now. So let's get to that before we dive into our other questions for training camp.
So,
Kevin, besides the rookie, are there any giant wide receivers that are fantasy worthy? I need some convincing. Good question. We just talked about wide receivers
mm-hmm.
in terms of position battles. You can go first, Brian. What's one receiver that, or is there any receivers that are fantasy worthy? I feel like that's a tough one because
I don't like Neighbors is the obvious answer, but besides him, um, I don't think there's a receiver that's quote unquote fantasy worthy, but I do think you have some potential dark horse sleeper picks in a guy like Wandell Robinson, who, when he gets the ball, has explosive speed, can be that big play guy. That'll, like, he catches a 5 yard, pass and turns into a 30-yard gain. So that's 35 yards right there. Huge. You have Jalen Hyatt, who is a deep threat, who, might only get 3 receptions a game, but he could have a Randy Moss type stat line where it's, 3 touchdowns, 100 something yards because he got 3 deep balls. So I wouldn't, I'm not saying go out and draft the 2 players, but definitely if they're sitting there, as a depth pick, maybe a waiver wire pickup week 3 or 4, that might be more where those guys fit.
yeah, I think yeah, same thing for me. I would probably go Wandale Robinson. His second season in the NFL was better than his first because of that ACL injury that he suffered in that rookie season. Wandale did, and he did lead the team in receptions last year, which is sort of saying something, but also not, because the Giants' receiving core was just bad last year from a production standpoint. But like Wandale, 8.8 yards per catch last year. So not as big of a threat down the field, but he is going to be mostly in the slot. And the Giants do want to, I do kind of see, not saying he will be, right, but I do kind of see Debo Samuel vibes in terms
Yes,
of,
like
yeah,
a gadget player. Like, okay, yeah, he's a wide receiver, but like he could also do some jet sweeps and line up as a running back for some plays.
yeah, I do. If anyone, I do see him as a fantasy guy. Jalen
Mm-hmm.
Hyatt, not yet, because it's just so much uncertainty about his
Yeah.
growth on the outside. And plus, he will be challenged by Slayton, because Slayton has never really, I feel like I may be wrong, but he's never been more of a slot guy. Slayton has, so because Slayton
Mm-hmm.
has mostly been on the outside. Um, but if anyone, Wandell is worth looking out for from a fantasy standpoint. Darius Slayton,
Yeah.
to me, also keep an eye on him on the waiver wire, and Hyatt as well. So
Yeah.
they're all worth a look from a fantasy
Robinson would
perspective.
be the only guy I would say draft if you were in like a
Yes,
deep league. Like if you're in
correct.
like a 14-man league, maybe take a look at Robinson for a bench spot. But other than that, these are waiver wire guys.
1,000%. It's like they're all worth keeping an eye on, but it's from a draft pick perspective. It's going to be Neighbors early, and then if you want to draft a receiver late, it's going to be Wandale.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah. Brandon the Ruiner, you need a better quarterback. Hey,
We know.
Brandon, we've
We're
gone through it multiple
aware.
times, my man. I love. Thank you for bringing it up again for us. I love it, but at the same time, we've gone through it multiple times. It's just the same cycle
Same discussion. It's
over
the
and
Giants are
over.
giving Daniel Jones this 1 year. We'll probably draft a new quarterback in April, and we'll go on from there.
Exactly. So unless Jones performs well, but that's a whole different story.
And even then, I don't know if he gets bad. That's a big contract.
It is
They still might pop out.
a, a few bad games, and that contract is over.
Mm-hmm.
But great question by our guy Kevin, and then great question by you, Brian. There, before we got to their question. So, my question for you is: we know the 2023 2024 draft. Oh my goodness, was pretty good. Some notable guys like Tyler Newbin and Malik Neighbors caught our eye this year, but we
Mm-hmm.
kind of sort of forget about what we drafted, or who we drafted last year, right? There's a lot of notable guys we drafted last year, like Deontay Banks, Sean Michael Schmitz, Hyatt. Eric Gray, Trey Hawkins, and guys like that. So, is there like a second year player that you're expecting a big jump from this year from that list of guys? Or is it kind of just more of a we'll kind of see type thing?
I have two players in mind. The first one is Jalen Hyatt. I want to see, like I talked about 2 seconds ago, with him being more of a deep threat, running more, post routes, where he's just, on a straight line, trying to beat the defender down deep, and Jones can hit him. Not going to go much into that. I just explained what it is. The other guy is someone who has a real shot to potentially be a starter on this team, and that is Eric Gray. Eric Gray, drafted out of Oklahoma in the 5th round. A lot of people had him, high up there. Could be an explosive guy. Could be a perfect running back number 2 to Saquon. Now Saquon's gone. He has an opportunity to be the running back 1 in this team. He just needs to go out there and prove it.
I love Gray. I do. I know he got limited opportunities last season, but he did show when he did play that he's not too bad. Like he really could challenge for a spot as much as we like to think he won't, or
Yeah.
average fans think he won't, because he was a 4th round pick and not really a notable guy. And plus, the Giants did just draft another running back in Tyrone Tracy, so it's like, where does Eric Gray fit on this team? So definitely love that. I expect a big jump from John Michael Schmitz. I do.
Okay.
Not saying that he'll have Andrew Thomas type leap from year 1 to year 2, but it would be nice to see, of course. But at the same time, he was a 2nd round pick. He was the best center in the draft last year, and he has the talent. The talent's there. It's just rough times
Yeah.
is the most polite way to say it, because he was ranked as one of the worst graded out
hmm
centers in the league according to Pro Football Focus.
Yeah.
So,
And center's a hard position to adapt to. You went from
mhm.
a college to NFL level, the offense is completely different and stuff like that. So yeah, I would like to see a big jump from it too.
Yeah, and coming out of the draft, scouts and actually no, and one specific offensive line coach, he kind of compared Schmitz to a Creed Humphrey type who
Okay.
currently plays for Kansas City, was a Pro Bowler. Schmitz, he's not a fast center, but he's strong and he's tough, and he kind of has a leverage that's kind of like a wrestling leverage type of,
Yeah.
if you were to describe it. So you add the fact that he's going to be a strong young center, that he's going to be the guy for years to come, I think.
Yeah.
And we're also live on Instagram as well, so we have a comment here from Tiffany who says he's going to be the underdog. I'm sorry, she's close to me, so
hmm
I know she's never mind. Inside joke, inside joke. But yeah, so have a comment on as well, a couple comments on from our YouTube page, and one of them is from Brandon again, who says Drew Lock can be the one you need as quarterback. We did release a video a month ago, and it was about Drew Lock starting as the QB1. After what we saw from the rookie or from minicamp not too long ago, I don't know if that's the best
Yeah,
choice.
I'll pass. I'll pass on basically every quarterback on this roster. The Giants' future quarterback is not on this roster right now. He's in college.
Or in high school.
I'm hoping he's not in high school. It's a long
Oh,
time from now. I'm hoping he's like gonna be in this year's draft class.
if let's see, Kevin says if you have to depend on luck, sorry, you're in the dumpster. Yeah.
Right. We
It
we are.
may come down to that. We will have to see. We will have to see.
Like, if we're gonna start the backup, at least start Tommy DeVito again. At least that was fun.
I don't want to see that anymore. I got friends of mine who are big DeVito supporters, and they throw it out.
I mean, DeVito was way more entertaining to watch than Drew Lock. That's
Yeah, he
not
had a
saying
point.
much. I'm just saying, like, if we're gonna go with watchability, just put Tommy DeVito in there. At least we
Well,
don't
what
make Sopranos jokes for a while.
I, I still haven't watched that show yet.
Great job.
I've been stuck on the Bachelorette.
I mean, really.
Yeah, because the oh boy, um, we're on, I think, episode 3 now. The woman that's the main
The Bachelorette.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you for helping me there. She's the first Asian American. She's
Oh,
actually Vietnamese, just like me. So I'm like,
oh, nice.
that she is she's stunning, man. I will say, but the guys, yeah, they some dogs. Dude. I'm telling you, some of them look like they play football. There's this one guy. His you can look him up later. His name is Sam M. I swear, I found him on Instagram yesterday. This dude plays flag football,
Is he really?
and he's built, bro. Like real
Oh yeah,
talk.
this guy. This guy is a like, yeah. This guy's like a wide receiver. Played.
Oh,
He's in a hunting shirt here. Yeah, this guy. Where's he from? Please tell me he's from like South Carolina or something.
I don't know. I know Tiffany is still here in the Instagram chat. So yep, she says she's my queen. Yeah, she's referring to the Baxter Red. Her name is Jen, by the way. It's Jen. Jen definitely is a queen. But if Tiffany's still here, if you could possibly check for me where he's from. Because I know.
I'm on it right now.
Okay, you got me. All right, cool. You both got me then. But yeah, it's a great show. I've been stuck on that show for a cool minute, man. Me and the family, we watch it for dinner or during dinner time, and it's the drama, man. The drama gets crazy, man. Like I understand they're all there for the same woman, but my gosh, dude, it gets
Yeah.
South Carolina, Myrtle, South Carolina.
Let's
Thank you, Tiff.
go. He's a
Oh,
South Carolina guy. Yeah, this
yeah,
guy definitely grew up on SEC football. Like he's gonna go play at South Carolina when he grows up, or Clemson, one of the two.
dude. Regardless, he's oh, dude. He is. If there's anyone I want to win, I want to see get the girl. It's him. Even though from what we've seen, it doesn't seem that way. But hey, for those of you who haven't watched it yet, just give it a try. I promise. May not be a cup of tea, Brian, but hey, if you're bored or something, I don't know, throw it on there.
I'll give it
And
a
if you,
shot.
yeah, there's another guy too that has the same last name as me, Nguyen.
Oh, there you go.
He's kind of. I was rooting for him, and he kind of just messed
Well,
things
yeah,
up.
you should go last name. Like,
Yeah,
how often is it? Like I think we both have more like unique last names. When is the last time you met someone with your last name? I've never met anyone with my last name that I'm not related to.
yeah.
It's not like Smith. There's 1,000 of them. There's no Germinaros out there.
That's why you're unique, bruh. It's
Exactly.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm a unique, all right.
Speaking of last names, Brandon says you want the Manny in college. Then, yep. It. So did he? No, 2 more years, right?
Texas right now.
2 more years. If we were to get him,
One more year.
one.
Yeah, because this year it's 3 years for NFL eligibility. Yeah, because
Oh,
you come out when he's a junior. Because they didn't redshirt him, so you could be he'd be a junior. Yeah.
ah, very nice. Okay, I'll do some early scouting. I'm just playing. It's too early for that.
Yeah.
Kevin, if you're looking for a new TV show, check out the new season of Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai. Never heard of Cobra Kai,
You
which
remember
is
Cobra Kai? That's like
no.
a TV spinoff to the Karate Kid movies.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's the you've seen Karate Kid, right?
The Jaden Smith one.
No. Like the original one.
No.
So it's the villain from that movie grown up. He takes over the dojo and is running it like that. I haven't seen the show either. That's just what I know about it. I know Peyton
Oh,
List from Jesse's in it.
I do know Peyton List.
Exactly.
I sure do. Um, so let's see. Brandon says Arch Manning will be ready for the draft next year. Perfect. So if things go to down the drain, he is a guy we'll keep an eye on. Hallelujah. All right, back to our training camp questions. We appreciate the comments. Keep it coming. We love them. Brian, what's your next question for our Giants?
Is Malik Neighbors going to live up to all the hype that he's been given? Have you seen, especially the past few days, the Malik Neighbor hype has been out of control. That people are comparing him to Jamar Chase already. And he's barely been on the field. This thing is Jamar Chase. A lot of people, as soon as we drafted him because he's LSU, the next Odell Beckham Jr. I want to see, is he going to live up to that expectation, be the 1,000-yard receiver the no doubt wide receiver number one, a real fantasy impact for our guy Kevin out there, or is he going to take a second and kind of slowly come into his own as a wide receiver? That's where I want to see.
And I think we can both agree that when we say that he will be an impact guy, but it is just the fact that it's the quarterback play that is so concerning because if I'm Jones, if I want to save myself, I don't care what it takes. I am forcing the ball down Malik Neighbors' throat.
Yeah. He's your
Because
weapon. He's the guy that the Giants brought in for you.
exactly, Saquon is gone. Jones will not have that guy next to him no more. So he's gonna have to throw. He's never had a guy like Malik. Now he has him. So take advantage and force the ball to him. Obviously, be smart with it because we've seen what Jones can do when he's not thinking straight.
Yeah.
Seattle game.
Forget what color uniform he's wearing.
He forgot during that Seattle game. My goodness. Oh my. Oh, I was watching that dude, and I think Waller was open on that play. I'm not sure if you remember what I'm talking about, but Waller was like in the back of the end zone. He was so wide open, and Jones just fired it to Wandale and right into the hands of Devon Witherspoon and just took off.
Gone.
Dable was pissed. I saw
As
his
you
face.
should be.
Oh yeah,
he missed a wide open read. He's like, get off your first read.
Look around first. Don't stare. It's like
that's Pop Warner stuff.
He's just like me. Well, no, I actually look at my weapons when I'm playing NCAA or Madden. Like I actually look. So look.
Yeah.
I understand it's hard to look sometimes as a quarterback, because your field of vision is impacted by defenders right in your face. But you were scrambling, Daniel, and you had a lot of space, buddy. So I don't know what you were looking at. But hey, look, just the point is Malik can be and will be in 1,000-yard consistent wide receiver for years to come. It's just a matter of getting him the ball, and we love to see him shine in his rookie year.
Yeah.
But it just depends on how Jones will play. Getting him football. So, any other additions to that question for you? Or
no, that's pretty much you covered it.
Perfect. A couple comments here as well. Who do you think? I will use this question to replace one of mine. Because it's a great question, actually. Even though the answers seem kind of simple, but who will step up as the tight end one after Darren Waller retired? Brian, you can go first.
I think it's be Daniel Bellinger. We saw Bellinger in his rookie season. He was having a great year before he got poked in the eye in Jacksonville. He was having a really, all the signs were that Bellinger was going to take that next step. Now, they brought in Waller, so he kind of took a back seat, but still, 20 targets, 25 catches, 255 yards. With all the craziness at quarterback and kind of being a tight end number two behind someone like Waller, those are pretty decent numbers. But I think we're going to see another step forward for Waller this year and go back to being the player he was in 2022 before being poked in the eye.
Which was not the prettiest sight to see.
No.
Which is, if you think about it, it is kind of tough to get poked in the eye. It takes.
It is I think, one of the most unluckiest plays in football history. By some miracle, he got in between the face mask and just perfectly got his eye. Like, what are the odds?
And he was out for a decent amount of games.
I think he missed like 6 games. I think he had to have eye surgery, like an eye socket surgery. That bad. No, it's just like, it's a complete and total accident and fluke.
And he wore like a visor.
Sometimes. Yeah, that's why he wears the visor now.
Man, I couldn't imagine. Never mind. Don't want to think about it. Let's see. Kevin says both of you need to start watching those movies and the shows ASAP. It's great entertainment. Yeah, I've seen
Karate Kid. That I will see. I haven't seen like the rest of them. I've seen the first original Karate Kid.
Yeah, because you're cultured. I'm not. You keep up. I'm stuck with. Oh, we all got jobs, so I don't have an excuse for you, Kevin. But I will. I got Netflix, I got Hulu, I got Disney Plus, I got all this stuff, so I gotta take advantage, man. Because I've been hooked on the Kevin Hart movies recently. For some reason, I don't know. I watched
Hey,
Ride Along 2, The Wedding Ringer was another one. I don't know. So I'm just stuck watching his movies because he's funny and I love him. So
mhm.
yeah. Okay. So that was. Oh, I didn't answer the question. So yeah, Bellinger obviously is the name. I was gonna throw out Theo Johnson. Even though it does seem likely as if Bellinger will be the tight end one, but Theo Johnson is
Yeah,
someone to keep an eye on because
especially with Johnson on the pup list already. Like that was sad to see.
right. Darn it, I forgot about that. Which brings up the question. I saw a post by Fireside Giant. Shout out to them, by the way. Great guys over there. They brought up a name. I don't want to say it because it's ridiculous. It's not a bad idea. It's just the name. It just bothered me. Jimmy Graham was one name mentioned as an option to add. I feel like you're not comfortable with that name.
No, because I didn't realize he was in the league last year. So he
I
just randomly scored on NFL. I'm like, that's not Jimmy Graham, right? Oh, it is. What the hell is he still doing in the league?
I yeah, that was bad. I Graham was something back
He
in
was
the
really
day.
good in 2014. That was 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
that's true. Actually, let's go back to the Bellinger point because I think we do say that's unlucky, but Tiffany made a great point on Instagram. The most unlucky thing to happen in the league in recent memory, I would say, would definitely be the Darvin Ham situation, right? When he made that hit on T Higgins, right, and then he got the cardiac arrest situation. That was probably the most unlucky thing. She made a great point there.
Yeah,
Uh,
that is. I meant, yeah, that's
ah,
pretty unlucky.
because it's just a normal football hit,
Right?
and
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, he got up and then boom, just that was probably the scariest thing. I remember where I was because I was at a Thai restaurant. I was eating, and I heard about that, but I was like, okay, he's gonna be fine. But it was to the point where he was like, the coverage on Sports Center was just Dar. Did I say Darvin Ham?
Yes, you did.
Oh my
That's why
fudging!
I was sitting here. I'm like, who's
Oh
Darvin Ham?
my
And I'm like, oh, I
god!
guess you just said like Damar Hamlin really fast. I don't
Damar
know.
Hamlin. Oh,
Yeah, I'm like, who is
can
Darvin Ham?
someone
That's why
take
I'm
my
like sitting here
Lakers
waiting. I'm like,
fanship away? My god! I
I said he was. I'm like, I hear you explaining it. This is Damar Hamlin, but maybe that's what you said. Like the mic cut out. Like what's going on here?
Darvin Ham. That's crazy. Damar Hamlin is the name. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, there was so much consistent coverage on Damar Hamlin. It was to the point where I was like, is he gonna be the first NFL player to pass away because of what he did on the field? Thankfully, no, that he survived and he was awake and everything's okay. That everything was okay, I should say. He's still okay as it is right now. But I will say things when it comes to Damar Hamlin, it went overboard.
Oh yeah, you mean him being at the party?
The the party. Wait, what party?
Party. I forgot who hosted, but like everyone was there in white. Like Joe Burrow. This picture got like Joe Burrow, Livy Dunn, Odell Beckham Jr. together, and Paul Skeens threw like 100 for the next week. He was there.
Got it. That party, the whiteout party.
The
Yeah, yeah,
whiteout
yeah,
party.
yeah,
I
yeah,
forgot
yeah,
who
yeah, yeah,
threw it
yeah.
or what it was called, but yeah. I saw a picture of Livy Dunn and Joe Burrow. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I don't know if Damar Hamlin belongs in that.
Yeah, and then and then like forgot who it was, but someone said like I'm not supposed to be here, and they immediately flashed to Damar Hamlin. Like, what are we doing? I think it's at the ESPYS. Well, they
Oh
hand.
yeah, because there's a guy that was talking about like death or something. He was like, I was supposed to die,
Yeah,
and the
I
camera
didn't watch the
pointed.
ESPYS. I never watched the ESPYS. I've watched the Stuart Scott speech. I've watched Jim Valvano's speech, and that's all of the ESPYS I think I can handle. So I didn't really. I saw the headline, but yeah, no, they flashed to Damar Hamlin. Or the fact that the Buffalo Bills decked out their ambulance in Damar Hamlin gear. That like
That was
any
the worst.
that was my buddy. Shout out my friend Josh. He goes, "There's no way they're bringing the ambulance out in the field right now."
And I forgot who they were carting off, but as the ambulance was going away, when we saw the Hamlin thing on the back of the ambulance, I'm like,
And they kept
Really?
flashing to Damar Hamlin every
Man.
time like a player went down. Like, guys, stop. Let the
Like,
man live. Let's move
I
on. It was a tragic event, like horrific. Like, let's not build this whole man's career around it.
like if he passed away, then yes, different story. But he's
Mm-hmm.
alive. He's fine. He played. Let's.
He's playing football. We can treat him like another football player again. He's, stick round pick, guys.
Yeah, Tiffany says even I. Yeah, I know you know his name. I got mixed up with basketball. It's because I'm traumatized by my Lakers with their sorry coach. Not now because we have JJ Redick, but different story. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's good. That's gonna work out great.
we still have to get to our top 100 players and also the Jordan Love contract, and then Team USA. We have some Olympic questions pertaining to us, but Brian, we'll get to that at the end. So let's go with your next two questions or your last two questions, and I will
Yeah,
go over mine. We'll kind of do rapid fire, but you don't have
yeah.
to
We'll do
go
rapid.
too fast.
Want me to
Yeah,
just do the two right now off the bat?
yeah. Go
Quick
ahead,
one
Brian.
too.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number one is how is Micah McFadden going to back up his breakout year? Is he going
Ooh.
to continue to be the player, or is he a one year wonder? That's kind of where I want to see because he was really good last year. But is he going to be able to fit, Bowen's defense, and is he going to continue that, or is he just kind of a flash in the pan type guy?
Yeah,
And
McFadden. Yeah. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead. I'm
no, keep
sorry.
going. No, you can
I
go.
was gonna say McFadden was a tackling machine last year. He had like 101
Yeah,
tackles. I just wanted to point that out for you.
and my second is where is Azeez Ojulari going to fit in this defense? He kind of lost his spot as the second linebacker to Thibodeau with Brian Burns. Is he going to be a depth guy? Is he going to maybe switch positions and move to inside linebacker? Maybe he's going to do something like Isaiah Simmons was doing. What's the future hold for him? Those are the two questions.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. For McFadden, I mean, he was a tackling machine last year. 101 tackles, 12
Mm-hmm.
tackles for loss. That game against Buffalo stood out to me. I'm sure for you as
Yes.
well.
That was
And
his coming out party, I think. Like we kind of knew that okay, McFadden's been pretty decent, and then like, oh, this kid's good.
oh yeah, it helps with Okereke next to him, and I feel like if he remains next to him, Okereke does that. I think McFadden will have a good season. Ojulari, it mostly going to be a pass rush situation type guy. If
Mm-hmm.
they want to put another extra pass rusher out there, I could see a defensive line situation where they put Thibodeau, Lawrence, Burns, Ojulari. As crazy as that, just from certain situations.
Yeah.
But that's what I got for that. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So my questions for you: who will lead the team in sacks this upcoming season? And are there any players on the Giants that will make the Pro Bowl?
Okay, so I think that Kayvon Thibodeau is going to lead the team in sacks. The chalk answer is Brian Burns, but I think Burns is going to receive more of the pass protection and getting lined up with double team stuff like that, leaving holes for Thibodeau to go in there and get more hits on the quarterback. And then for Pro Bowlers, I think Giants will have a couple. I think we'll have Malik Neighbors be a Pro Bowler. I think we'll see one of Kayvon Thibodeau or Brian Burns be a Pro Bowler. And then I think Deontay Banks is going to jump be a Pro Bowler this year. I think we're at a Pro Bowl season from Banks.
Ooh, okay. I like that. I like that. Yeah, I'll agree with you on those two answers. I think I would say the same. And that will wrap that up. We may have some more questions in future episodes, but we wanted to just get a few in there as training camp kicks off, and we'll definitely have some more questions as camp comes and goes. And football, like we mentioned, is almost here, man. A week from Thursday, the Hall of Fame game begins. So exciting times there. All right, next up, the top 100 NFL. Well, not all 100, but players 81 through 100 in terms of the top players were released yesterday. Um, I'm not sure if you guys have seen the list. I know Brian, you have. As
Yep.
we're gonna run the banner down here um, with all the players from 100 to 81. I there's some questions. I
I got a
guess
few.
yeah, we'll start with you. what concerns do you have? What questions? What stood out to you from this list of?
My first one is how could Aaron Rodgers be on the list of top 100 players if he played for 75 seconds? Come on, guys. You put Trevor Lawrence behind him. Trevor Lawrence almost took the Jaguars to a playoffs.
This guy carried the American flag.
He carried the American. Okay, it was an insanely cool moment. That's it. There's nothing to do with him being a football player. If any player on that Jets team, if Zach Wilson or Michael White's not a Jet anymore, if the backup left guard did that, it would still be really cool.
He carried the flag, did the most nicest celebration with Sauce Gardner. Got onto the field.
And then his Achilles exploded.
Yeah, it got sacked by Leonard Floyd, and boom, there goes the season. Which stank, dude. I was looking forward to seeing. The game was on for me. I was so excited, and then I saw Zach Wilson on the field. And I was like,
I didn't even get that because I was getting dinner with my friends, and my buddy and his girlfriend. We were out getting dinner, and we were like, we got back, and we're like, why is Zach Wilson in the game? What's going on here?
It's like, did we forget that they signed Rodgers? Did we? Are we in a dream?
Like, is there a gas leak in here? What's going on?
Turns out it was, an injury that happened to Rodgers. Yeah, definitely a big question mark. He was ranked, I believe, I think he was ranked
92. I pulled up right now.
That's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Ahead of guys like Harrison Smith, Trevor Lawrence, Julian Love, shout out.
Yeah,
Terry McLaurin.
Terry. I love me some Terry.
Terry.
What other takeaways did you have by any chance? Any other things that stood out to you?
Nothing major. I mean, Trevor Lawrence moving up on the list probably wasn't deserved. I know it was only 2 spots, but like a lot of questions surrounding Lawrence. Is he really that good in the league? Is he going to be a guy that can lead the Jaguars to multiple playoff spots? I know he got the big contract, but right now that seems like an overpay. So is he really deserving of being 94 on the list? I don't know.
I will say the biggest drop for me was Tariq Woolen, the cornerback from Seattle. He was the 15th best. No, he was actually in the top, I believe, 80, I think.
He was 76.
76 last year. And then he dropped to 91. So that kind of stood out to me because he was one of the best corners on Seattle. And for him to kind of fall off to 91, a bit of I didn't like that, I should say.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Yeah, hopefully he kind of regains himself this upcoming season. But yeah, Rodgers being there, and that made no sense. A few first timers on this list from last year: Zaire Franklin, Levante David from Tampa Bay, Deion Dawkins from Buffalo, Julian Love, a former Giant, as we all know and love, DK Metcalf, Love's teammate, and Montez Sweat made their first appearance.
Yeah,
on the list. So I think let's see. I want to discuss. Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon was. Where did Saquon? Where did Saquon?
I only have up to 91 right now.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. So on my Saquon was 86th. He's the 86th best player.
90 to 81.
Yeah. Saquon was 86. Metcalf
down 55 spots. Seems about right. Kirk Cousins down 39 spots. I mean, towards ACL, towards Achilles. What's going on?
Is it down 30? Is it down 39 spots, or is it from 39?
Well, it's up 39 spots, but like in this case, be negative.
That makes sense because I'm just like,
did
it? Because I mean, Saquon
moved up in the sense of he went from what Saquon was
55.
I think he. Yeah. So yeah.
They got to make this list more specific, man. I ain't gonna not think about it.
It's got to be down because there's no way Kirk Cousins was 39 last year.
I mean, he did lead the Vikings too.
Okay, I love Kirk Cousins. He's not 39.
As the as the days and weeks come along, we'll get more players revealed on the top 100. So we'll see what happens there. But as of right now, from 100 to 81, it's Zaire Franklin, Devontae David, Cameron Hayward, Terry McLaurin,
Finished
Deion
39 last
Dawkins.
year. It's that is down how many spots they are.
It's a spot. Okay, got it, got it. So not from. Got it. Okay. Otherwise,
22 last year.
that's true. Cause I think about it, because I put Tariq Woolen. I said that he dropped from 15 to 91, but there's no way Tariq Woolen was a top 15 player. Not
Yep.
not not to make fun of him, but I'm like,
A
nah,
top 15 player is,
that's yeah,
Well,
that's
the top 15 from last year was Fred Warner, Trent Williams, Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, Aaron Donald, Chris Jones, Micah Parsons, Josh Allen, Tyreek Hill, Joe Burrow, Travis Kelsey, Nick Bosa, Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson, Patrick Mahomes.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get through the future players, the top 80 of the list as we get it revealed out. But we'll see what happens there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so just want to discuss that real quick.
Yeah.
So okay, we got a couple topics remaining. Let's go ahead and discuss about Julian Love. When the
Jordan Love.
Packers, yeah. So when the what did I say? Julian Love?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Darvin Ham, Julian Love. What's next? Uh, I love Joe Burrow. He's one fine. Oh God, we're not doing this today, are we?
I know a lot of girls that are into Joe Burrow.
I, but are we gonna? All right, I'll find the picture. I'll find it. Okay. All right, we're doing this today, aren't we? All right. I love Joe Burrow too. I do. Okay.
He
All right,
looks good
Tiff.
his
All
haircut.
right, Tiff. Let's see. Let me show my screen. So for those who love Joe Burrow out there, do we still love Joe Burrow now? Do we? Do we? Do we? You
Why
know,
is he blonde now?
no. Look, Sam M from the Baxter Red is different from Joe Burrow right now, because what is this? This is not. What does he look like?
Um,
I know you know who I'm talking about.
Eminem.
Yeah. This is no.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not expected.
I don't know what to say. Look,
Bengals doing look who's back. Guess who's back?
this if we're looking at this
That's Joe
Joe Burrow,
Burrow.
this is Joe Burrow. This is the one that women like. This right here. Not what we just saw. If Captain America can pull off a beard, long hair, and short hair, so can Joe Burrow. What we're not gonna
America
do,
had a beard because he was in exile.
what we're not gonna do is compare America. I was gonna say it. I'll say Captain America. We're not gonna compare Captain America to Joe Burrow. That's what we're not gonna do. Okay, they're two different people.
We don't think Chris Evans and Joe Burrow's a fair comparison.
No, Chris Evans is levels above Joe Burrow. Levels. I we all have opinions. Right?
Yeah.
I love Tiff. Tiff, great comments there. Um, oh, one day, if it's not weird, we should, no, that's
One day, if it's not weird, I'll get no.
It's
No, you can't start a sentence like that and not finish it. You have to say what you're gonna say.
top 5 best looking athletes, but like from a from
There's
a
so much I want to say right now, but I'm not going to.
from a heterosexual perspective, because we're both straight. So we'll put a disclaimer out there, like, look, these are all straight opinions. We are not
You want to just move on because
Yeah,
you're
we'll
you're
just
you're you're bombing.
uh, look.
Just
I
everyone
bombed
just
ever since
evacuate the boat. It's not coming back up. The boat's sinking.
ever since the Darvin Ham comment. I mistaken Darvin Ham for Darmar Hamlin. I've been downhill
It's gonna
ever
get worse.
since.
Let's wait till the Olympics come up, and I got some stupid stuff to say.
So we'll just quickly get to Jordan.
Jordan Love. There we go. Okay. Opinion on Jordan Love. Quarterback does not deserve to be the highest paid in the league because he's only started for one season. All right, he probably deserves somewhere around like a Geno Smith contract, average annual value about 25 to 30 million a year. Because sure, I think he'd be a really good quarterback in this league, but I need to see it more. I need to see a bigger sample size than one season. All right, and I know it's a little different. He's on the bench for a few years behind Rodgers. I need to see a full season before I'm willing to give you Joe Burrow 55 million a year type money.
Correct, because Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence are tied for the highest
Yeah,
paid quarterback in
Trevor
the
Lawrence.
NFL.
I think Trevor Lawrence is a major overpay right now. I don't think he's proven he could be a top quarterback in this league either.
He is still young.
He's young, but like I need to see more from him. Like he's not, been in here. He's not the guy who was at Clemson, and I know Clemson's a more talented roster, but just think about the collapse they had last year.
That is fair. That is, but at the same time, I do think that there's still, because Jacksonville, they kind of lost the. Ridley's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Kirk.
More athletes need to be like Jalen Brunson and take pay cuts so their teams can stay better.
Okay, let's not that. Okay, if we have time, I want to get into that real quick because that was a lot. Okay, so Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas are the top three receivers for Jacksonville. So, not too bad of a receiving core. I think Trevor Lawrence can get it done. He is 25 years old. I mean, you have to pay him now with the market increasing as it is. 55 million is, give it like 2 years. That's going to be cheap. Heck, Daniel Jones's contract for 40 million a year is cheap as it is.
Did exactly what everyone said it was going to do. Everyone was mad at Daniel Jones, the top 10 paid quarterback in the league. We all said all these quarterbacks are going to get paydays. It's not long, so Jones will fall out. And what happens?
There you go. But yeah, so Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, the highest paid quarterback in the NFL right now, along with Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, and Lamar Jackson behind them. Goff is the only 30-year-old in that list of the top 5 that has been paid big money. So, look, I understand Jordan Love, but the Packers had a great season last year. The record doesn't say much. I mean, he did go 9-8, but he did throw for over 4,000 yards, which was 7th best in the NFL, 32 touchdowns, which was 2nd best in the NFL as well. QBR 62.1, which was 9th best in the NFL as well. But look, despite all that, I know he's a franchise guy. Technically, it's only been one season of him.
Yeah.
Okay,
one season.
So it's like you pay him all this money, and what if he doesn't play well? Knock on wood. I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, well, it's looking over then the Daniel Jones situation. We paid Daniel Jones all the money and then immediately struggled. Now we're kind of stuck with him. Do the Packers want to run a similar route with a less proven quarterback than Jones was?
And as much as we shouldn't do it, I think it's needed because both quarterbacks are kind of similar in that they just, before Jones got paid, he just led his team into the postseason. No one expected to see what we saw from Jones, right? Same thing with Jordan Love. We didn't expect Jordan Love to carry the Packers into the postseason, and it's like he just did it, and he had a fantastic season. Jones had a fantastic season from his standards a couple years ago before he got signed. So,
yeah,
the thing with the Packers, and I want to give it back to you real quick before we move on to Team USA, but I want to make this last point. Green Bay, they're not known for giving out guaranteed money after year one. So that's going to be hard to see what they'll do because they're going to have to get creative. You're going to have to either give Love a pretty big signing bonus or you guarantee money in future seasons, which is, like we just said, something Green Bay doesn't do, or structure the contract where you're like, okay, we will pay you non-guaranteed money, but we'll add bonuses in exchange for guaranteed money, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Um, kind of look at the Mahomes contract where he
Mm-hmm.
signed for just $63 million guaranteed, had a 10 million bonus in 2020, but he has rolling guarantees. So basically, the numbers the numbers are guaranteed if he's still on the roster by a certain date a year or two before, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I'll give it back to you. Do you have any other last comments on Jordan Love? Do you feel I guess I'll just ask you because I think my answer will be the same as you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like he deserves to be the highest paid? But also, do you think he will, regardless of what we think?
He definitely doesn't deserve to be the highest paid quarterback, but with how the QB market is right now, I do see a possibility he could get that contract.
Question: why do football players get paid so much?
Revenue.
Revenue. But then again, it does. I think it is greediness.
Yeah.
Because you made a great point with the Jalen Brunson situation. I know different sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basketball, but Brunson was offered what $200-300 million on his contract, and he said no, he'll take a pay cut. If you, I'm not sure why he took the pay cut. I
He
think it
took a
was
pay cut to
because
keep the team together. They saved like $115 million so they could go out there and get, bring in his Villanova buddies, but like go out there and Knicks continue to field a competitive team.
okay, that's it. So, but it's just from an NFL football perspective, it's like
It's
every
Brady. It's Brady. It's Brady taking the pay cuts all the years so the Patriots continue to be a competitive team.
who is it fair to say that Mahomes kind of messed everything up from a
Yes.
football standpoint? Okay, because it was what 10 years,
It
500
was
million,
such a mammoth contract. It just spiked the market. All of a sudden, every quarterback's like, well, I want that.
and that's the thing because even though guys may not be because no one in the league is as talented as Patrick Mahomes,
Oh, God, no.
but everyone sees that big contract and says, I want that. And if you're not going to give me that, someone else will. That's why, Joe Burrow, right? Joe Burrow was thinking, if you guys look, I understand I haven't won you guys a Super Bowl yet, but I am one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And I just
Mm-hmm.
saw Mahomes get paid. And I want that money. I want higher than him because I want to set the market. I want to be known as the highest paid guy. You have to factor in the sense of greediness in a way,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but also understand that the market, like you mentioned, revenue, right? It's the revenue. It's seeing other people get paid, and the reason why people and these players are getting paid is because teams know it's like, okay, if we don't have this guy, then we don't have anything.
Yeah.
Like if the Chiefs, no, Chiefs is a different story because Mahomes is going to get paid regardless. But Trevor Lawrence, right? If
Yeah.
they didn't pay Trevor Lawrence, what's the point of watching Jacksonville?
Yeah.
So it's like teams are like, okay, then we have to pay this guy. Otherwise, we don't have anyone to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the Giants. Well, Giants different story because, well,
Yeah.
like we didn't pay Saquon Barkley. Yeah, Mahomes did win 3 Super Bowls, and that's the thing. It's because the Chiefs see this guy as like, okay, he is our guy. He is the
Well,
reason why.
Mahomes hadn't won 2 Super Bowls yet. Mahomes, I think, only had one Super Bowl before he signed that contract. I think he's
True.
been to two. I think he's been to two. I think got the contract and then won two more.
1 2 more. Gotcha. The back to back.
Yes, I believe. I'm
Right.
pretty sure. Yeah, they gave him half. Yes, they did. Because I was still working in the fish market when they signed him. But
And
Mahomes only had one.
and that's the thing because he just knows how to win, and
Yeah.
that's just yeah, because he knows how to win and he keeps eyes on the Chiefs. The Chiefs are like, let's just pay him and we'll just go from there.
Yeah. Pretty much.
For sure. But yeah, at the end of the day, these players are going to get paid regardless. And Tiff, I got to tell you, Tiffany, along with our other viewers, it's not going to stop.
Oh God, no.
It's not going to stop. It's to the point where we
It's
may
going to
see.
stop in some, like baseball, hockey, and basketball. You're going to see it going to stop a little bit when the regional networks kind of go out. That
Yeah,
regional money is so important to those leagues right now, but football doesn't have that problem. So you're just going to see that money go up and up and up.
yeah, but all right. But so it is what it is, and hope we answered your question there, Tiffany. I appreciate that. Definitely a very, even though there's a simple answer to that, there's a lot more that we could dive into, and we'll probably do that in a future episode. But great question there. I appreciate you. All right, last topic, Brian. I was waiting for you to ask this in regards to the Olympics, but what you got for me?
All right. So last night, I know this is nothing new. Other shows have done similar topics, but let's just say tomorrow morning you get a letter in the mail from Team USA, and it's been you have been selected. You are going to Paris right now. There is a plane waiting for you. It's going to take you to Paris. You have to pick what sport you're going to compete in. Which sport could you compete in right now and win the gold medal? I have five. I did a top five of it.
Okay. Um, I'll go quick on mine. I want to hear yours.
Okay.
Basketball 3-on-3.
All right.
I probably couldn't handle 5-on-5, but I could handle 3-on-3. Soccer.
Soccer.
I
Okay.
could I could score a little bit. I got speed, which ties
Mm-hmm.
into track. I could run the 200. Don't put me on the 100. Don't
No.
no. Don't put me on the 100. I know, Tiffany, you can swim. I can't swim. I can't swim. Brian, I can't swim, buddy.
That's fine.
I took swimming lessons and I'm yeah. Let's just say the lessons didn't go so well. I was put in the 12 feet area and did not work out.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see.
Won't ask
Swimming water.
anymore.
Yeah, I tell you. Yeah, so yeah, track, table tennis, and I think I could ride a bike.
Okay.
Yeah, I will go cycling.
Cycling.
Track. All right, but what do you got for
All
me?
right.
Tiffany said swimming and
So
water
number
polo.
5, everyone has done this. Table tennis. That's not a sport. Everyone plays table tennis. Like I know, like it's kind of crazy seeing the Olympics, how fast they're going, but you could figure it out pretty quickly. You could hit the ball back and forth. I played table tennis in my when I used to live in the freshman dorms for college. Table tennis was always going on in the lounge. That's the only thing you could do in that thing. Number 4 is canoeing because similarly, it's a leisure activity. It's not a sport. I know retirees who go canoeing. Canoeing is just rowing really, really, really fast. I can do that. No problems. No problems. I can outdo everyone. Number 3 is rock climbing because any elementary schooler can do that. Every elementary school gym had a rock wall. I've climbed it. I can climb a rock wall, no problems. There are places you can go where you can rock climb for fun. So I don't really think it's going to be that hard of an Olympic sport. Number 2 is handball because I am dirty at handball. I was the best handball player in my gymnasium in high school. Now, that means probably nothing, but I was good at it, so I know the rules. So I can play and be a Team USA. And then number 1, I have plenty of experience in, and most people who played Star Wars in their backyard, fencing. Now, I haven't actually done fencing with any real fencing swords, but I have taken plenty of wiffle ball bats to the ribs and playing Star Wars and using wiffle bats as lightsabers that I could beat anybody in fencing.
I could see you being a mad fencer, if that's what you call them.
I call them people who want to be knights, but were born in the wrong era.
The Gen Z medievals.
Yes, they are the Gen Z medieval people.
Oh,
Like, oh no,
okay.
I do fence because it's fancy. No, you just want to be a knight and are a loser.
Oh, come on. Yeah, I think table tennis would be something we could both excel in for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I will say people go crazy on that. But at the end of the day, we are rooting for the United States. I do feel like we'll dominate in the swimming department, the track department for sure. And we better win the gold medal in basketball because no
Yeah,
way.
what was that the other night about South Sudan almost beating us? We were down by 14 at one point. Like, Come on.
And you know who saved
I know
them?
we're gonna be trying,
LeBron
but
James. LeBron James saved the day. So, all right. Well, great question. That was fun. Very creative because we don't talk about the Olympics as much, but hey, with the coming up, we'll definitely talk more Olympics on Thursday because it is the day before it actually starts. So we'll dive into
I
more of
think
that.
it's starting this week. Like there's certain events starting before the opening ceremony is Friday. Like
Got it.
soccer and rugby is starting like today, I think, just because it's so long.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, we'll discuss more on Thursday, but that will do it for the Third and 10 podcast, episode 6. We had a lot of fun. I think we did. It was a lot of
Oh
fun
yeah.
talking about everything. We hope you guys did too. Shout out to our sponsors, SeatGeek. Use the promo code BellyUp Sports for $20 off your first purchase. Shout out to Righteous Fellow and Jerky as well. Thank you to BellyUp Sports for getting on this platform. That's my guy, Brian. I'm Nate. Enjoy Hard Knocks tonight as well. And then, yeah. Okay, Olympics start the 26th, Friday. Perfect. So we'll
Yes.
cover on the 25th. So make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast and also on the YouTube page. And remember, once a Giants fan, always a Giants fan, forever a Giants fan. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you to y'all